What's going on, Couch Fam? For those that don't know me, my name's Hussein the Brain, and these are my NFL DFS picks for week one. We're going to be concentrating on GPP plays. We're looking at DraftKings week one main slate. Nothing against Sunday night football or Monday night football. A lot of exciting games, but we're going to be looking at cheap players, players that are contrarian, and of course players that offer that high risk, high upside, high ceiling reward for us to win first place in various tournaments. So let's look at DraftKings right here. And I do not go over too many obvious names. I try to go over the slate, go over what's going on this week, my thoughts, what could happen, unlikely and likely scenarios. And this is also awesome if you don't play any DFS. By the way, it stands for Daily Fantasy Sports. Even if you don't play on DraftKings or any site like that, it's still beneficial to watch this if you're a football fan or just play season-long fantasy. Because we're going to be going over a lot of scenarios that could help you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. Oh, maybe I didn't think of that. Maybe I can add this player and stash him. So it's really going to help you out tremendously. Again, we're not going over too many obvious names. I'm not going to be like, pick Patrick Mahomes. It's too obvious. I don't do stuff like that on this video. At least I try not to do that often. So the first name is going to be a little bit obvious because Vegas has this as a high-scoring shootout, and I believe that it will be. That's the Titans-Cardinals game. Ryan Tannehill, he's a very consistent quarterback, so he's not our typical GPP quarterback. He's not our typical high-upside quarterback where he might get you 40 points, right? He's not Dak or Josh Allen or Mahomes. He's not that guy. But with a little bit of change in Tennessee, maybe a little bit different offense possibly, and the addition of Julio Jones, a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver maybe, and the old man Julio Jones, but I don't think he's really that old. He looks young to me. Even though he's old, he still looks younger than a lot of these young wide receivers and more athletic. And hey, whatever you think, A.J. Brown's injury worry, Julio Jones injury prone, is going to get hurt. This isn't season long, man. This is DFS. We only need these guys for 1 week. And going against the Cardinals, it's going to be a fast-paced game, a lot of plays, back and forth. Derrick Henry's obviously a good start, but hey, I'm throwing that out there. Ryan Tannehill could be a slightly unpopular pick. His price is not great, but not bad either. $6,500 going against the Cardinals. I do like him. I would consider him. Stacking him is pretty easy with guys like Ferkser, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown. I probably wouldn't stack him with Josh Reynolds, who I believe would be the wide receiver 3. I probably would not do that. I wouldn't go that bold, but I might. Hey, Anthony Ferkser might do that. We got to move on though, otherwise we'll be talking about that forever. Next guy is Jalen Hurts. I said it wouldn't be obvious, but we're getting pretty obvious here. But I did want to talk about him. This could be another shootout going against the Falcons, 6,400. Now, with running quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, or why we like Jalen Hurts in fantasy is because of his rushing, right? With guys like this, you probably don't want to do a double stack. So with Tannehill, I might pick 2 other tight ends if I want to be super risky and crazy and bold. But with Jalen Hurts, I think I've learned my lesson. Like, I'm not going to double and triple stack him too much. This isn't 2013 Peyton Manning, right? If I'm going to stack him, I'm going to pick like Devontae Smith and that's it. Or maybe like Zach Ertz and that's it. Something like that. Maybe even Jalen Reagor. You don't want to pick like Goddard and Devontae Smith with a guy like Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying it's a no-no. But don't have like 10 lineups with that, like doing a double stack with Jalen Hurts. Because we're expecting, if he does, we're always going for a top 4 quarterback. Basically, that's our goal. And if he's top 4, you're going to be expecting a lot of rushing stats from Jalen Hurts. So looking when he was a baller, when he was in the Millionaire Maker, when he was killing it, look at that What was his rushing stats? 63 rush yards. A week before, 106 rush yards. A week after that, 69 rush yards. So that's typically how he's going to make it into that top 4 or even best quarterback of the week category, is with his rushing stats. And a guy who might be kind of looked over. Kind of vanilla, right? Top 11 quarterback last year in fantasy. But no rushing stats from Kirk Cousins. But he does have 2 of the best wide receivers in the league, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, in an insane matchup against the Bengals. They're going to kind of have to pick their poison. Either Adam Thielen's going to be running wide open, or Justin Jefferson is going to be running wide open. I'm really thinking the only reason not to like Kirk Cousins this week is if it's the Dalvin Cook show and Dalvin Cook gets like 39 fantasy points all on the ground, then I can see Kirk Cousins being bad. But if they do decide to throw, maybe the Bengals make this more of a shootout, more of a closer game, then Kirk Cousins could absolutely ball out. Another one that's easy to stack. I guess another downside or another con with Kirk Cousins is that Irv Smith, unfortunately, is injured. We're really looking forward to that third option or fourth option if you count Dalvin Cook in that pass game. Irv Smith did have some intriguing upside. Now, we knew he wasn't going to ball out or anything, but every now and then, right, when the defense overlooks Irv Smith, I bet you he was going to be running wide open, get you those third down catches and whatnot, help move the chains. And I think that does downgrade Kirk Cousins a little bit. You know, they lose Kyle Rudolph. Now they lose Irv Smith. It just sucks. And, I mean, they get Chris Herndon, but we all know how I feel about him. He's hurt my feelings too many times. We don't talk about him anymore. Moving on. Baker Mayfield, I don't have him as a pick, actually. I think this is going to be very obvious. I think a lot of people will go for Baker Mayfield. Look, I'm guilty of it as well, telling you guys, hey, go, start the quarterback going against the Chiefs. It's going to be a shootout, right? I've said that at least 3 times on this show, probably more like 7 times on this show, and other people are going to be able to figure it out. Other casual players on DraftKings, casual DFS players, they're looking at Baker. He's cheap. He's going against the Chiefs. It's looking like a shootout. Chiefs defense, maybe not up to par. Maybe they're okay. But yeah, I'm not with it just because it's not contrarian. That's really the only reason. I like Baker Mayfield this week, but because I feel like his ownership might be a little too high, I might stay away from him and just go way more risky. Just go way more crazy with it. I'm entering GPPs. Another guy who kind of falls into the same boat as Baker Mayfield is Jameis Winston. Another non-pick for me. I'm a fan of Jameis Winston. I'm rooting for him. But at the Vegas lines have these lines. They just have it as a huge shootout, a high-scoring game going against the Packers. His price is pretty good. As far as him being a contrarian, I don't know. I think it's going to be right around the middle. He's neither going to be highly owned nor a contrarian. But with the price being cheap and with Vegas identifying this as a shootout, high-scoring game, another guy that I might be avoiding just because it's too obvious. All right. A lot of obvious names I went over. Virtually everyone was obvious name, maybe except Kirk Cousins. I'd say they're all pretty obvious. And then you had your usual suspects, so I didn't even go over. Mahomes, Lamar Monday Night Football, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, so on and so forth. Even Stafford for the Sunday Night Football game. So who are the unusual characters? Look, guys, contrarian, very cheap. Vegas is saying this is going to be not a shootout, but a poop out. It's going to be no points scored, and I disagree with Vegas here. I'm identifying a super sleeper game, super sleeper quarterbacks, contrarian, with lots of upside, with a lot of unknown factors. And this is it right here. It's the Jets-Panthers game. I've made fun of Sam Darnold in my Discord. I've made fun of Sam Darnold on social media. But, I like to have fun. I like to make fun. I like to joke around. But with these weapons and a new offense with a fresh start going against the Jets, DBs, the Jets not that great in the secondary, not that great at pass coverage. Could possibly be bottom 3. A lot of things can happen. I mean, I'm just going to say right now, my next quarterback is Zach Wilson. So we have two basically the same things right here. Very unknown with Sam Darnold kind of being like a rookie again, I feel like. Brand new chance, brand new team. We don't know how he's going to look. But, hey, guys, I might have identified a super sleeper, right? This over-under is so low for this Jets-Panthers game. And, you know, it could be like that. But I think these two quarterbacks, man, I like these two prospects. This could be a potential shocker right here. And if I didn't mention twice already, I'll mention it the third time or second time. These guys are super cheap. So $5,000 only for Sam Darnold going against the Jets. I love it. And then we got Zach Wilson, same exact price, $5,000 going against the Panthers. This could be a shootout, folks. No Jamison Crowder, but you can stack Zach Wilson with guys like Croft, probably not, but definitely Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. And you can stack Darnold with guys like DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr. If you're bold, he's minimum price this week. And Robbie Anderson, and we all know they have chemistry, and Robbie Anderson does fit the mold of a boom or bust wide receiver, or at least one with some upside because of that deep play potential. And then we got one more, slightly more obvious because he's clearly now every position I'm gonna try to give you a dirt cheap player, basically minimum price player, and that this week is Mac Jones at 4,400. This was priced likely right, when Cam Newton was like 85% chance was going to be the starter, and that's what this price is. He's priced kind of like almost a backup. And the matchup's not great, but Mac Jones looks all 5 of these rookie wide receivers are looking amazing. I love all 5 of them. And Mac Jones has been looking great in the preseason. Reports have it that Mac Jones was actually trying to help Cam Newton learn the playbook. And I actually believe that. And this guy's smart. And he threw the ball well. And I think it's a great fit being on the Patriots. And I don't think, even though he's probably not going to be super contrarian, I don't think he's going to be heavily owned either. So Mac Jones at 4,400, this could work. If you have Mac Jones in a GPP, just to let you know, your lineup is going to be so cheap. You're going to be able to put a lot of stud players in there because you'll stack them with, a guy like Jacoby, who's cheap, Aguilar, who's cheap, Kendrick Bourne, who's cheap, Jonnu Smith, who's cheap. You're going to be able to really afford those big names, those obvious names, if you get Mac Jones, because your quarterback's going to be cheap and the guys you stack them with is going to be cheap. Moving on. Running backs. Now, a lot of people have made fun of me quite a bit for putting Austin Eckler as a bust in my sleepers and bust video. And, I don't believe in him season long. I think he's just being overdrafted. But in DFS, I kind of like him because he has got a questionable tag. He's got a hamstring injury that seems very minor. He did practice today, Friday, as I'm recording this. He is expected to play week 1. The matchup is not great, and the price is not great. This all points to Austin, and he's priced barely cheaper than all these stud names that we're going to see every week, right? So he's almost as expensive as these top running backs. So the price is not good. He's got the questionable tag. He doesn't have a great matchup. He's not a high volume guy. So what this speaks to me is contrarian. And I'm considering Austin Eckler a boom or bust player that does rely on the big plays. So he's going to kill your lineup because he's going to waste all your salary money. And he can just fall flat because he depends on those big plays. But if he booms, you will boom to the top because not a lot of fantasy, not a lot of entries will have Austin Eckler in their lineup. At least I'm not expecting to. Like, look at this right here. Austin Eckler, 7,000 going against Washington. Aaron Jones, 6,800. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that Eckler's not going to be that owned. I don't know. Are people as bold as me? I don't think they are. I don't think they're that bold. I think the ownership will be low. But it takes being very bold to put Austin Eckler in your DFS lineups this week. It really does. We'll see. We'll see how bold people are. That's going to be the exact measurement by Austin Eckler's ownership or usage or exposure. We'll see how many lineups have Austin Eckler in them, and I will know how bold these DFS players are this year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The price is not bad. It's not good as well. He's a little bit hated from last year, a little bit of a disappointment, but all rookie running backs were disappointments. I see him being a great start against the Browns. I think he's got a ton of upside. The floor is okay with him. He can catch passes. We'll see his usage. That's up in the air. Will he get that high volume? We need that. But he does have the chance. It's realistic that he will get that high volume. Price 6,600 going against the Browns, baby. A guy, I don't know. I was kind of reluctant on bringing up. But James Robinson, I think, is a great matchup. I'm just thinking maybe he's a little bit more hated on than he should be. So maybe he will be a little bit more contrarian. 6,400 again going against the Texans. Here's an extremely obvious name. The value is absolutely insane. Fantasy analysts and professional players, I think, will easily identify Antonio Gibson. So fair warning. Casual players might not, but I think everyone's going to be all over this. I think serious fantasy players and analysts will be all over Antonio Gibson, 5,900 week 1 going against the Chargers. It's insane value. And it's looking like, I didn't do an exact value measurement for everybody, but it's looking like Antonio Gibson will be the best value running back in DFS. So when that happens, usually won't be contrarian. Usually be very highly owned. So fair warning on that. All right, not every single pick we have has to be contrarian, though. Even though I push contrarian a lot, I'm a strong believer in it when it comes to DFS, tournament plays, and GPPs. Not everyone. This might be the chalk play here for me. We'll see. All my other guys might be contrarian, but I'm definitely gonna have him in some lineups. I don't care. Cash GPP. I'm having Gibson in some. Who else did I want to talk about? Just briefly, Melvin Gordon, and you'll see why. I mean, I hate him. I skipped over him, but I love Javonte Williams, and he's coming up really soon. And so, look, this is what I'm gonna do, right? If I'm entering, let's say 20 times, which is what I usually do if it's an expensive tournament, I might enter like 20 something times. If it's a cheaper one, I might do like closer to 50 times. But if I'm entering Javonte Williams in some tournaments, I definitely want to switch it up by getting Melvin Gordon. I think that's a good strategy in my other lineup. So let's just say I enter 20 times, all right? I have Javonte Williams in 5 of them. I might have Melvin Gordon in 2, let's say 2 of them. Something like that. Melvin Gordon is not a guy you want if you're doing just one entry probably. But he's going to be so contrarian, and the price is okay, but compared to Javonte Williams, the price is absolute garbage, right? So that's why I think he is going to be contrarian, and I believe he's the starter, and Javonte Williams is going to take over this backfield. It could be about halftime the first week. It could be week 3. I don't know, but this is week 1. And maybe Melvin Gordon outscores Javonte Williams. Maybe he gets the touchdowns. Maybe he gets the receptions. Next up, we got Nyheim Hines, just really a flyer. He's a super big talent, could get a lot of receptions, especially with T.Y. Hilton out, especially depends on the way this game is going. Could be kind of a shootout, and the Colts need to throw the ball, and Nyheim Hines is basically a receiver, with the running back designation, and he's priced $5,000. By the way, Colts running back Nyheim Hines going against the Seahawks. All right, and we have a couple minimum price, guys, right? Minimum price for a running back is 4,000. And so we do have A.J. Dillon. Look, the Saints run defense, they're stout, but that was last year. We'll see what happens this year. A.J. Dillon's a guy that I always loved in season long. I love him this week with that price. He can score touchdowns. He's a big back. He doesn't catch the ball at all, really, but you never know. Maybe Derrick Henry's catching balls this year. And I think there's a tiny, tiny chance A.J. Dillon gets used in the pass game a little bit more than we think. We know Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Packers, would really like that. So don't rule it out of the realm of possibility. It's definitely not likely to happen, but it's possible. We know Matt LaFleur likes to use 2 running backs. My main concern is probably this Packers O-line. A lot of change, a lot of things happening, a lot of flux. I don't know, man. If this O-line can hold up, I'm not so scared of the Saints D. Like I said, I'm more scared of the Packers O-line. And of course, as already said, Javonte Williams, 4,000 club, minimum price club. Javonte Williams, come on. $4,000, like that's such a steal. And I think 1 out of 3 people that love fantasy absolutely love Javonte Williams. I'm almost there. I like him a lot. Like I'm a big fan of his landing spot and very confident he'll take over the backfield sooner than later. Let's move on to wide receivers. Again, I'm not trying to go over too many of the big names and obvious names, but Julio Jones, we already talked about him. He's 6,800 going against the Cardinals. A.J. Brown is just slightly more expensive, by the way, in comparison, 7,100. We got Scary Terry, 6,700. Oops, that's Tyler Lockett. Scary Terry is 6,400, going against the Chargers. I do like him. Deebo Samuel versus Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel's going to be more contrarian at 5,900 going against the Lions, while Ayuk is going to be more heavily owned, and I project him to score a lot more points. 5,700 going against the Lions as well. Their teammates, same position. What do we have here? Odell Beckham. This is a cool one, guys. Odell Beckham Jr. He is questionable, shaping up to be a game time decision, but I'm saying 99% chance he plays. Now, it's in the later games, so if you're able to swap him out on your website, then you can swap him out because it's the second wave of games. He plays in the late afternoon games, Sunday, going against the Chiefs. Baker Mayfield's going to have to throw the ball. Absolutely love Odell, but with this questionable tag and all this uncertainty, I think Odell's not going to be too highly owned. I think this game time decision thing will scare people off. Look, if it wasn't for this game time decision, questionable tag, he would not be contrarian at all. And then, of course, we talked about the Jets receivers. I'm going to go kind of out of order, but Corey Davis, 4,900. That's super cheap for the first option in that pass game. And then we have Elijah Moore. Might as well talk about him. Minimum price, right? Yes, 3,000 minimum price with no Jamison Crowder. This guy's an absolute stud. Oh my God. I can't wait to put him in my lineup. Elijah Moore, man. No Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder has been ruled out. They play basically the same position. Elijah Moore, one of the best rookie prospects, period, this year. Absolute fire. And then we have, if you're going to go with a Mac Jones stack, go with Nelson Aguilar here, man, because he's questionable, because he's been, public perception has gone down the last few weeks. He's not going to be in a lot of people's lineups. And you know what? If he's out, all you got to do is swap him with Kendrick Bourne at 4,400. Gosh, man, I'm listening to myself, how excited I am. But this is, I'm just this excited. Nelson Aguilar, right? Kind of a boomer bust role, boomer bust receiver for the Patriots. Now, if he's going to probably play, but if he's out, Kendrick Bourne takes his spot. He's only 4,400. He's very reliable. I mean, you're basically accomplishing the same exact thing, and you can afford it, right? Because he's $100 cheaper. No big deal right there, baby. One of the guys, I'm going, look, this is what I did in Season Long Fantasy. I was benching Antonio Brown and Devontae Smith, and then I slapped myself, like that. And I was like, dude, I'm starting these guys. And Antonio Brown paid off. I'm starting Antonio Brown all my leagues. And hopefully Devontae Smith pays off. I don't know how I'm going to be able to live myself if I don't start Devontae Smith. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. Devontae Smith going against the Falcons, one of my favorite prospects, Slim Reaper. Like, come on. I don't know. 45. We'll see how it goes. 4,500 though. Like, oh man, he's a rookie. I know we don't know what's gonna happen, but he is a rookie. And so Elijah Moore was in my minimum price club, 3,000 club. So that was my guy right there, who's minimum price. But I did want to give you guys a crazy tournament play, stupid tournament play, and it's a tight end. He converted from wide receiver to tight end, but DraftKings has him as a wide receiver, and that's Juwan Johnson. And if you really want to separate yourself, starting a tight end at the wide receiver spot, I think that's the way to do it. This guy's a total unknown, but Traquan Smith is out, right? He's been ruled out. Mike Thomas is out. Jameis Winston is at the helm. Not Taysom Hill, not even Drew Brees, who was losing his throwing strength, his arm power that last year. Juwan Johnson is giving me a little bit Julius Thomas vibes. Now, this is definitely a boomer bust, contrarian pick, but also a minimum price pick. This is a pure contrarian, crazy. I can't even call him a punt because Elijah Moore's a great punt. And look, Elijah Moore to me is a great play. Juwan Johnson to me is a crazy, stupid play. But hey, man, I might sneak this guy into a couple entries. I don't know yet. I really don't know. But I did want to give you guys those super crazy contrarian picks. And that's definitely Juwan Johnson. In a game that could be a shootout against the Packers. They might focus on stopping Callaway. We'll see. Tight ends, a guy I skipped over right away. Look at this price for Hunter Henry. It's so disgusting. 4,700. This price is stupid. And that's why if I'm going Mac Jones, I might consider putting Hunter Henry in because no one's going to pick this guy. The price is so stupid. It doesn't even make any sense at all. Like how expensive is Jonnu? Is he like 3,900 going off memory? No, 40. So he's $600 more expensive than Jonnu Smith, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, he's priced almost as expensive as the super elite tight ends. It makes no sense. Like, I like Logan Thomas more than Hunter Henry. But yeah, you got yourself a contrarian pick there. I love Kyle Pitts, 4,400. He won't be that contrarian though, because look, the price is getting much better. We know Kyle Pitts should be a target monster. Absolute unknown though, he is a rookie, but I do like him. 4,400 going against the Eagles, by the way. Robert Tonyan could be one of the big targets there for Aaron Rodgers. Look, last year he didn't get a ton of targets. But what's his targets rate? 67. That's actually pretty good. I don't know about that. That's not that bad. Like, 67 is not that bad. So we're more hoping he'd get towards, 80 this year, close, but 67 is not terrible for a guy that just kind of came on all of a sudden. And Aaron Rodgers makes other players look good. That's what he does. So we'll see. I think this could be a big target this first week. Price is okay, not great, not bad. Looking at some punt plays, though. Sticking to that same theme. Dan Arnold. Okay, great matchup. Price is 2,600, almost minimum price. Should be the starting tight end. We'll see what happens with Dan Arnold. I believe he was a wide receiver as well, converted to a tight end. Very slim frame. Does it say his weight here? No, it does not say his weight. But he's a very tall, very slim guy. And definitely more of a wide receiver than a traditional tight end. And we have two guys that are on new teams, so I don't know how much they're going to play. I'm intrigued by them in deep season long leagues, but I don't know. This matchup is okay. Jacob Hollister should be the starting tight end for the Jaguars. I don't know if he's going to play week 1, though, or how many targets he's going to get. Just throwing that out there. He's a complete punt at 2,500 minimum price. And we all same exact thing with Tyler Kroft. But actually, well, Tyler Kroft is, well, he's been acclimated to the team. He's like the only tight end. He's the only tight end, really, on the Jets. So this one's actually a little bit safer. So actually, this is not that bad. So again, minimum price Tyler Kroft. Can't get any cheaper, folks. You just can't. You can't technically find a cheaper tight end than 2,500. So I just gave you 3 dirt cheap tight ends. Dan Arnold, 2,600. Jacob Hollister, 2,500. Don't really like him. But Tyler Kroft, 2,500. I do like him. So those are some really cheap tight ends if you want to make that lineup work. I'm giving you guys good, cheap options so you can make that lineup work. All right. And here we go. Defenses right here. So we got the Niners D, probably my favorite at 4,200, but hey, you know, that could be a bit expensive for you. Patriots is okay, 3,900. The Seahawks at 3,400. I think this is a perfect boomer bust type of defense. I think that this defense can completely destroy your chances of winning, but could also completely help your chances of winning. At this price, it's not that good. And I think they're boom. I think they're contrarian and they're boomer bust. I'll put it like that. Do with that information what you will. Broncos are a good defense. I think that's somewhat obvious though. 3,300 going against the Giants. Dolphins are a team you can select, 2,900. Jaguars, 2,700. I'm just giving you guys various options. Jaguars going against the Texans, 2,700. Ravens are a great defense, I believe, but that's Monday Night Football, 2,700. And if you're looking for a dirt cheap defense, I don't have any faith in these two, but hey, these are my best picks for you guys. 2,300. Colts going against the Seahawks. This could be one of the defenses that are scoring 11 points, 13 points, and then all of a sudden Wilson just lights it on fire the second half and just totally screws this defense over. So just keep that in mind. These guys can get sacks. They can wreak havoc. They're a good bunch. But I don't know if these cornerbacks are going to hold up against Russell Wilson. He can scramble. He can make the deep throws, and could be a shootout here. But still, I figure 2,300 for the Colts is a little bit cheaper than they should be. They should be probably priced around 2,500, 2,600. And then we got the cheapest defense right here is the Bengals. It's definitely not one I recommend, but is the absolute cheapest. And look, I think if they give you 1 fantasy point, I think that's not the worst thing in the world if all your other guys are balling out, because 2,000 is pretty cheap. That's going to save a lot. What is that, 2,300 cheaper than the Niners D? So, look, if you start the Bengals D, let's be realistic. You're hoping to get 3 fantasy points. It's not ideal. It's not really good to win a tournament. But with 3 fantasy points, that means that they're going to outscore a few other defenses. They're not going to be the worst, and they're not going to make you lose or anything. They're capable of getting 3 points. I know it's not ideal. I'm just giving you guys more options. Hey, maybe they get lucky and get 3. They need to get lucky. Yeah, if you pick the Bengals, you got to get lucky. But hey, like I said, guys, I'm giving you guys some options here. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Even if you don't play DFS, a lot of people watch these without playing DFS, and they really do enjoy it. Hopefully I provided some insight of week 1. And there's a lot of money being made and a lot of money being put into lineups for DFS, and that's why it helps you step your game up and look into things with a little bit more detail. Look further into things, take a deeper dive in your research. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, have that bell notification turned on. Really helps out, and that way you won't miss out on awesome live streams and videos. We have a second YouTube channel called Fantasy Couch Podcast, where we have our weekly podcast on there. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. Smash that like button as always, and good luck this week. Let's get those W's. Let's get that money. Let's win that first place. Let's go.